further ado, Mitch, if you are ready, I'm going to give you the great, the man, the myth, the legend, the credit repair specialist, Mitch Durfee himself. He also wrote the book, Serve to Win. He's a veteran. He spent time over in the war. While he was in the war, he was buying real estate here. He was researching real estate. He was like studying. He had his little I remember at the summit, he told me he put his little real estate book into a bag, and he would bring it out to the field, like he was out on the field in the tanks, and he would like be opening on the back of a tank, like or back of a Jeep. He'd be like circling real estate properties back home. And he got out of the military. He bought real estate. He's built multiple businesses, and he got really good at credit repair, because credit is how he scaled up his businesses. It's how he got extra business and extra resources and tools. And he's going to talk a lot about how he did that and how he built his business credit tonight. So without further ado, I got one more thing to say. I met Mitch in like 2016, 2017 at a success event called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And there we were. We both had about the same amount of hair, although now I have far less than he does. But at the time, we were both, just a little widow's peak. We were both looking pretty damn good. And we were both like hungry for real estate. We both wanted success. And he showed me this video of him. And like, it was like one of those Superman videos where he's in the suit, he's walking across the street. And like, you could tell like this kid spent like $100,000 on this video. Hands can, if you've seen those videos, you know what I'm talking about, where it's just like a sizzle reel. It's like, oh man, like he's definitely the best at what he does. I remember thinking like in that moment, I was like, man, I gotta be like this guy. Like I gotta be like Mitch. Like Mitch is absolutely killing it. And to this day, it's been years now. We've been hanging together. We've been building together. We've said we were going to be on stages together. Then we were on stages together. And here we are building millionaires together. And our one goal that we still haven't hit yet is to buy a skyscraper together. So we're still working on buy the skyscraper. But that being said, Mitch sets some big goals. Credit is important for them. And he's going to show you some secrets tonight to get you through to the other side. Let's give Mitch Durfee a big round of applause.
Wow.
Credit repair, brother.
Wow, man. Thank you for sharing that, Walter. Honestly, man, it is, I got to say, man, you're definitely one of my longtime friends that, I'm so grateful for us meeting and watching like the growth of like you and Dorina over the years from that event. I'm so grateful to see it. And I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And like, I'm so happy to be able to jump on here and share some of the strategies and tips and lessons that I've learned along the ways that have helped me and that I've taught to others to help them get a lot more success going on faster, right? Because I think in this game, right, if we're trying to become millionaires, or if you're trying to make, the next 10 million, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have to figure out how to leverage things, leverage time, leverage capital, leverage your audience, leverage, just resources around you in general, because there's not enough time in the day. There's not enough money out there, like your own. You have to get access to others. And that's really just a strategy that I've learned over the years. Can you guys all hear me? I just want to make sure that you guys can actually hear me, because I just moved into a new house here in Florida and I haven't really had a chance to set everything up. So my office is not completely set up. I'm still doing some renovations on the bathrooms and everything. But I do travel a lot, right? So I'm actually going to Switzerland here in 3 days. So I don't really, fixing the office, I'll do it when I get back. But today, if it's okay with you guys, I want to share with you a couple different things. One is how you can actually get control of your credit so you can get that 800 score. Typically, my credit score usually is around 825, 830, unless I'm leveraging it. And I've been able to figure out how to actually hack this, where I can literally swing it in and out within 30 days and get the maximum value out of it. Just in this last month, I've opened up credit lines of $50,000 in this last month for businesses, for myself and my partners. Mitch J, we were talking the other day, and he just got over $20,000 in business credit, interest free for the next 15 months. So I want to share with you, since you're all here tonight, I want to share those strategies with you, how you guys can get access to that too. And also, I met Mitch at a Tropicaria event. He was up there doing his presentation, and I was sitting in the room. I was new to Florida, and I'm like, oh, this guy is pretty cool. Mitch number one, like this. Mitch, he's got a great name. He's tall, way handsomer than me. Like, I want to be more like this guy. And then he pulled out this book, The Scaredy Cat Guide to Investing. And I'm like, dude, I get that. Like, that makes sense to me, right? Like, exactly, that book right there. I'm like, this makes sense to me. If you're interested in real estate, you got to be a little conservative. Like you're always trying to like manage like how deep do I want to jump into this game? Like, and when you get fully leveraged, like you want to have some protection there. And that's, I guess, one of those reasons why I like to leverage credit, because, at the end of the day, if things do go south, I'm, the credit card companies are going to cover you. You have bad credit for a few years, but it's a good way to have leverage and be protected. So I think that's awesome. If you guys haven't picked up that book, definitely check it out. If you haven't chatted with Mitch, he can definitely help you get into this investment stuff. So reach out to him too. So thank you, Walter. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you all of you for being here tonight. One other thing I want to teach you is, like I mentioned earlier, I am going to Switzerland here in like literally Thursday. I'm flying out, and I booked the hotels and the flights using all my reward points. So the only thing I really have to cover is the train tickets and the meals. So I thought it was pretty cool, right? To be able to do that. So I want to share with you how you can actually use your credit card reward points to book these like business class tickets that are typically reserved for people that are spending like $5,000, $7,000 on flights, and honestly get them for the same price as an economy ticket. So I'll show you guys, I'll give you guys a link on how to do that. It's totally free. It's just something that, it's funny because a lot of people charge like $5,000 to teach people how to do this. I don't know if you've ever seen the ads, travel hack, like get access to these first class tickets. I'll show you guys that for free. So stick around to the end. I hope that's valuable to you. And what I want you to do is, if you find value in that one thing, share that with other people too, because again, that's really what this community is about, helping people get the best quality of life in a time frame that makes sense to us. So Walter, thanks for building this community. Thanks for allowing me to share this stuff. So let's dive in. Cool. Sound good? All right, perfect. So first things first, again, I just checked one of my credit cards, my business credit card. I have access to almost $400,000 in business credit right now on just one of my businesses. As Walter did mention, I have multiple businesses. We do real estate investing. We do e-commerce. I have a credit repair business that teaches people how to fix their credit. It's more of an educational platform so people can understand this. So I'm not going to be able to cover everything in the next 20 minutes. I know that, and I'm sorry that I can't share everything with you, but I'm going to give you as many golden nuggets as I can in 20 minutes. If you want more information, like I sell the whole course for like $97 to the community. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to reach out. I'll drop the link for it. But Walter mentioned something that a lot of people struggle with, and it's, especially if you're a busy business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're investing in real estate, you're doing renovations, you own a construction company, whatever business you're in, I would say that you're going to battle the same thing Walter did, the same thing I did, the same thing a lot of my business partners do. And that's lowering your credit score will be affected if you're not using credit the right way. And it's not your fault. I really want to be clear on this, because no one in school said, hey, look, here's how you use credit, right? So unless you're actually taking the time to jump on YouTube, you're taking the time to read the books, you're asking the questions at these seminars and events and conferences, and you're showing up and you're actually putting time in, there's no way you could possibly learn the things that we're going to teach tonight. There's no way that you're just going to wake up one day and say, this is how I use credit cards. So simply put, like what happened to Walter, what happened to me was, we were financing things in our business using personal credit cards. And when you do that, your credit score gets affected because of a thing called credit utilization, right? The other things that affect your credit is missed payments, credit age is another big one, hard inquiries, and then credit mix. But the things that I think a lot of you entrepreneurs are going to notice is that the hard inquiries, they fall off in 2 years, right? So I've had up to 18 hard inquiries in a year because we refinance properties. They always want to pull your credit. If you buy a car, sometimes they'll ding your credit for 6 to 10 hard inquiries, but they fall off. So I wouldn't worry about that category. I would worry about making sure that you're making your payments on time. You do not want to miss a payment. You do not want to close accounts down because if you miss a payment, that's going to last for 7 years. Now, if you have missed a payment, like Walter mentioned earlier, I do have free letters that I give out. Again, this whole credit repair thing is not my main business. I do it because I'm so passionate about helping people really take control of their finances. And this is something that's really helped me. It's helped a lot of my military friends. It's helped a lot of my business partners to actually get out of this rat race. So really, if you're struggling with that, if that's something you're struggling with, you don't have don't worry about telling me but if you are struggling with that, I want you to understand that it's fixable, right? And there's a couple ways to fix it. One is, if your credit utilization is maxed out right now, one way to fix that is to request a credit line increase. So if you have a low credit score right now, because credit utilization is maxed out, or you're above the 30% that you really shouldn't go over, one way to fix that is to ask for a credit line increase. The other way to fix that, if you haven't applied for a credit card, is you can actually open up a new credit card. So another way to fix your credit utilization would be to open up a new credit card, and that will increase your utilization because now you have, whatever you're approved for, right? So for example, if you have a $10,000 credit card and you have $9,000 on that credit card, when you apply for a second credit card, and you get approved for another $10,000, your credit utilization will be cut in half because now you have access to more capital. And just by simply doing that one thing, your credit score will actually increase because you lowered your credit utilization. Does this make sense?
Is that with the same credit card company or a different credit card company?
Yeah, so typically, again, the first strategy would be to ask for a credit line increase with the current credit card company. And then the other one would be to open up a new credit card, because when you open up a new credit card, you
With the same credit card company.
no, I would go to a new credit card company, right? So you're not because you kind of want to spread it around where it's like Bank of America, Chase, Capital One. This is we're talking about personal credit right now. US Bank, Wells Fargo, all these different accounts that offer sign up bonuses. Because when you open up a new credit card with a new company, you can get access to, Mitch, what was the sign up bonus for you? Like $900 or something?
$900 on a 6K spend in the first 3 months.
Yeah. So if you spend $6,000 in 3 months on your credit card, he's going to make $900 just for signing up for a new credit card. That's literally free money. So I love that. Yeah. So I'll share that card with you guys all. In fact, I'll share it now just so we don't forget it. But that's
What
the Chase
about
business. Yeah.
what about
Definitely affiliate link here. So, but that card is the card that I typically recommend for a lot of people. That's the Amex card. And then I'm going to give you the other one here too. Let me see if I can find it.
I have both these cards just as a heads up, kind of let you guys know they work. Mitch has got them, and this Mitch has got them too. I'm pretty sure Walter's got both of them as well.
Are we talking about personal cards or business cards?
We're going to lean towards business, because business ultimately is where you want to be. So
Right.
these are both business cards. If you want access to personal cards, I think you just download Credit Karma and it will recommend personal credit cards for you. But again, the idea here is we want to get you over to business credit.
Mhm.
If possible. If you have an LLC, you definitely want to have business credit, because the right business credit will not show up on that credit utilization, which was the third thing that we're leaning towards here. So first step is ask for a credit line increase if you need to. Second thing is to open up new credit cards. And the third one, which is the best strategy, is to move over to business credit. So if you can open up, if you have expenses like Walter, you don't mind if I use you for this example? Yeah. So if you have a credit card, if you have debt on your credit cards or a balance on your credit cards right now, if you move that over to this Chase business card, right? You started making your charges on that Chase business card. What you're going to see is, say you had $10,000 on your personal credit card. When you have $10,000 on your Chase credit card and your utilization is gone on your personal credit score will increase, because you can have a balance on your business credit score, on your business credit, and it won't affect your score. I know it doesn't make sense, but trust me, this is how it works. And that's what a lot of people I think they miss that because no one teaches this, right? They think, hey, if I have a credit card, it's the same as a credit card. But if you have a business credit card like the Amex Blue, the Amex Platinum, the Chase Ink Unlimited, any of these cards, they won't show up on your personal credit score. So that lowers your credit utilization, which increases your credit score.
And
So
the
I
reason
know that's a
that
lot, right?
works-
That's
Yeah,
a lot, right?
No, I think it's good. I think if it is confusing, just think of your business as an entity, as another person, which is why it gets its own EIN number. It's, you know, it's a separate person. It gets its own business credit score. You get your credit score. Basically, what you're doing is you're transferring it off of your credit to your business's credit. So it's, you still owe it. Well, the business owes it now instead of you owing it. Is kind of why that works out. Hence, Karen, if this is valuable so far. Awesome. Carry on,
Okay.
Mitch. They're following along.
All right, here we go. Perfect. All right, so next step, like again, I think that you guys have probably all been exposed to some of these ads where they say, hey, look, we can open up thousands of dollars in business credit with no personal guarantee. Right now, again, yes, you can, but a lot of those cards are store merchant cards and gas cards. So again, this big belief that you're going to open up a personal or a business credit card with no personal guarantee. Yes, it exists, but you're not buying hundreds of thousands of dollars in fuel, unless you're a trucking business. So all of these big business credit cards are going to require a personal guarantee. And Dorina mentioned it a second ago. They're going to look at your personal credit score to open up a business credit card. So if you're not approved for a new business credit card or a new credit card to increase your utilization, the other way to actually solve this problem is to get a personal loan. Right now, I know personal loans are expensive, but business credit card interests are higher than a personal loan. So again, I hope this is like, don't tie me to the cross if this doesn't work for you guys. I'm giving you some general advice. This is just ways that we've done it in the past. These are systems that work for a lot of people. I'm not a financial advisor, all those disclosures, but these are things that this is the formula that everyone teaches in order to be able to solve this problem. So,
Our attorney Mike Shine says this is not financial advice.
Thank
Hence,
you.
Cam, if you understand, you're adults and we are not financial advers.
Right.
We are
All right,
simply
thank you.
millionaires sharing how we did millionaire things.
There you go. Thanks. I think that's the way to do it. Yeah, we're doing big shit here. So if you take a personal loan out, again, personal loans don't show up on credit utilization, right? So the other way so there's really only like 4 ways to get this credit utilization down besides paying off your cards, right? So pay off your cards, ask for a credit line increase on those cards, open up a new credit card. And if none of those are working, move your credit cards, that balance over to a personal loan, or open up a personal loan and pay off your credit card. So when you do that, your personal credit score goes up, and then you can open up a business credit card. Now, when you have the business credit card, you can start to make those purchases on there, especially if they're interest free for 12 months. And that buys you a little more time to get out of debt, or to pay down your balances, or to leverage to grow your business. So does that make
Mitch,
sense?
can I ask another question?
Yeah, of course.
Personal
Yeah.
loan, is that a HELOC?
HELOC is a version of a personal loan. You know, you can go
What
to
is
a
a
credit
personal
union.
loan?
Yeah, you can go to a credit union and ask for a personal loan. You know, they'll basically look at your income and say, hey, look, you're either approved or not. Sometimes you know, the banks that you have relationships with, they'll approve you for a personal loan.
Just say that you want to pay off credit cards or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that direction. I would probably say I was gonna remodel my house, or I had some bills come up.
I had a paid off car, so I just put it against the car.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things that they're gonna approve easier than say that you know want to pay down debt. So you know, again, how you massage that with your lender is gonna be probably something for you. But if it was myself, I would say, you know, depending on how much you're trying to get, it would be along the lines of, if you have a house, a HELOC is definitely a great way to do it because the interest rate's a lot lower. You know, I love leveraging HELOCs because you can get approved for a HELOC and you don't have to pay if you don't borrow, right? So, but that's another conversation, I think. You know, talking about HELOC loans and stuff like that. I don't want to kind of stay focused on the business credit because we're definitely short on time. What time are you done? 7-ish? Yeah. So, all right. So credit utilization and business credit. Now, what's next here? I kind of took some notes here. So does that make sense? How to get your credit utilization down to fix it?
What about trade lines?
Trade lines, yeah. So, all right, trade lines. The reason you want to use a trade line is because, and in fact, a lot of my business partners will actually do this, where we'll add someone onto one of our cards. So, if you're going to get a trade line, make sure they have auto pay set up on that trade line, because you don't want them to miss a payment and have your credit affected. 2, make sure they have a low balance on that, so they're not, because if they're using that card like for some expenses, renovations or anything like that, and at 1 month, you know, it's $40,000 on that credit card, and the next month it's 2,000. Like, you don't want your credit score swinging all over the place. And 3, which is the reason why you want to do a trade line, would be for credit age, right? So if you're trying to get approved for credit and you have no credit or bad credit, opening up a trade line can get you in the door to be able to get approved for credit. Typically using, you know, a close friend is the best strategy, or a family member is the best strategy, but there are trade line websites that you can go to buy these. And like I said, you know, a lot of my business partners, you know, if we're doing business together, I have no problem typically adding them on to one of my trade lines, and then I'll just receive the card and I'll just cut it up. But it's something that, again, like, the reason we're doing this is because if I can get them approved for $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 in business credit, then we can scale the business up a lot faster. So if you have questions, yeah, feel free to either drop them, or definitely, you know, if you want to share one, just, you know, do like Tashin has you. What was your question, sir? Okay. Net 30. Yeah, okay. During a net 30 cards are good, like these charge cards. They're a nice option for business. There are net 60 cards, like the Amex Plum card. So a net 30 card, like any Amex Business Platinum, I mean, the Platinum card, the Gold card, these are like charge cards, and they're nice ways as long as you have cash flow that's coming in. But again, I personally think that if you're trying to get access to more money, that interest free for 12 months is the best way to grow your business. Because, you know, if you can have if you can borrow money like $50,000 at interest free, $100,000 interest free for 12 months, like, it's a great way to kind of scale up a business, especially if you're getting, you know, 6% a month, 10% a month, or even 12% a year, right? Like, if you borrow $100,000 and you're getting 12% on that, you basically just made $12,000 for borrowing bank's money, like, plus, you know, the $900 sign-up bonus. So, you know, it's a $13,000 check just for leveraging other people's money. All right, cool. So who wants to learn how to travel for free? Anyone? All right, yeah, perfect. All right. And so if you have, you know, the cool thing about this, like with business credit cards and credit cards in general, is that a lot of these programs offer cashback reward cards, or points, you know, if you're on the Amex system. And like I said, I was telling you guys, you know, I booked $3,000 flights here to Switzerland. Just got a notification, prepare for your upcoming trip. Just email me now, using credit card reward points. And there's a site, and I'll give you a video for it, because I made this video because I wanted to be able to share this with you guys for free. Credit repair blueprint.com/travel. So you guys can check this video out. It's about a 5-minute video, and I dropped the link there. Go ahead and copy it now. Feel free to share that with anyone, but that is another website that people are charging like $3,000 to $5,000 to teach people how to do. And, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm Robin Hood over here, but I don't want to sell this program. Like, I don't want to like rope you in, you know, with some clickbait saying like, oh, travel for a fifth the cost, and then just give you a website that you guys could find if you had the time to do it. So I'm a big believer on just giving away this information to help you guys out, especially if you're traveling, if you have these reward points. And again, you know, I shared those 2 links with you for the Amex Platinum card. You know, that's one way to get, you know, to repay me if you are signing up for an Amex Business Platinum. If you want to click on that link, you know, it's like a $200 referral bonus for referring people. But also at the same time, like I said, if you start referring people, you know, you can get the same rewards and stuff like that. But yeah, so that video, there's a website on that link I gave you guys. If you watch that video, it's 5 minutes. It'll teach you exactly how you can book these flights. For example, you know, if you booked you know, economy flight from here to Zurich, it'd be like $1,000. Business class was $2,500. But going through the website, it's like, it ends up being like $700 for business class, because they just leverage these reward points through airlines. So
Mitch, I got a question. Something that you said at the summit that like blew my mind. There is, for business, a way to check your business credit, like to check the credit score for your business. What was the name of that website?
yeah, I just dropped it in the chat there, nav.com, right? So if you have a business, post that link again, please. Does it come up or no? So nav.com, if you have a business and an LLC and you kind of want to manage or monitor your credit for the business, they'll also make recommendations for you. It's a good, again, like a lot of these people that are teaching business credit, you know, Nav is a great website to kind of monitor that. But a lot of people will teach you, get a Duns and Brad's number, you know, open up, get your EIN for your LLC, open up your business checking account. But really, if you're interested in business credit, here's the 180-second pitch on exactly how to do it. Are you ready for it? All right, here we go. So you open up your LLC. Typically, the longer it ages, the more credit you're going to get access to. The next step would be to get an EIN. Once you get your EIN, you can register for a Duns and Bradstreet's number. And once you have those, your EIN, your LLC, and your Duns and Brad's, the best way to get access to business credit is to have a relationship with the bank. So if you want a Wells Fargo credit card, then open up a checking account with Wells Fargo. If you want a Chase credit card, then open up a checking account with Chase. You want a Bank of America credit card, open up, you know, account with Bank of America. Now, when they can see that you have funds in these accounts, even if you can just kind of pump that account up before you apply for this credit card, you're going to get approved for more business credit. So that's one way to really kind of hack the system to get access to more business credit. But Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, I haven't mentioned Capital One, you know, so you guys might have Capital One cards. And the reason I haven't mentioned Capital One is because Capital One will report to your personal credit score. So I do have a Capital One business credit card, only because I've had it for so long.
The Spark.
Yeah, the Spark, and because they will approve you for a high balance. They'll give you a high balance available credit for that card, but it will report to your personal credit score. So, you know, if you're trying to get started with business credit and maybe your personal credit score is like 650 to 720 and you don't have any history, then maybe that's a good card to start off with to kind of show banks like, hey, look, you know, I have this business card over here, because banks will want to compete, right? So once you have one credit card, they're going to want to try to get you onto, you know, a Chase is going to try to get your business. The US Bank's going to try to get your business. For those that don't have NFCU for business cards, they do not report to Navy Federal Credit Union. Yeah, they do not report business credit. Exactly. That's another great card, you know, for business credit too, is the Navy Federal Credit Union. Again, I don't know if they have an interest-free period, but I do know that, you know, the Chase does. And then I think Bank of America does too, right now. So.
Mitch, I know we're getting close. We're right at the end there. I don't know if you want to do like a quick Q&A, but
Q&A,
before we
for
do
sure.
that,
Yeah.
you mentioned you had a link for the course that and I know you said the course was $97 for Alchemist Nation. So I just want to point out to everybody that used to be a $1,000 course, just so we're aware of the benefit that Mitch hooks us up with. So let's give Mitch a big round of applause. That's like super cool. And he believes in the mission, believes in what we're doing. Can you drop the link for that course if somebody is interested in it, Mitch?
Sure, man. Yeah.
And that also has the letters that you hooked me up with that I was able to send to the bureaus. I sent them off to Equifax and Experian, and I was able to get some of those inquiries off of my credit report. I had multiple inquiries all around the same time for a house I was refinancing, and I just like sent them out. I was like, hey guys, like, no. Like that person shouldn't have pulled my credit because I went with this other person. So let's get that one off. And they did. They did because the letter came out. So very, very valuable assets in that course. But let's open it up to a couple of questions. Hands if you have questions, something you'd like to ask about credit. And Alyssa and Joy, go ahead.
So for a realtor to have business credit, I would have to have an LLC, but would I have to become a broker? I don't understand.
To have an LLC? I'm sorry, what was the question? So.
So I'm a realtor, but how
Yeah.
do I get business credit? Because I work for an LLC, but I don't have like my own LLC.
Yeah. So great question. I love that question because I also started off as a realtor, and when I would get my commission checks, I would actually just get my commission checks paid to my LLC. So even though you're working for a brokerage, you can have them make those checks out to your LLC instead of to you.
For my real estate business.
And honestly, like, especially if you are a realtor, like there's a lot of deductions. Mileage is a big one. Getting that gas reward card would be a good strategy for you. Plus, your phone bill, all these things that are like, natural deductions for a business, you throw all that stuff on a business credit card. It's a lot easier for you to kind of keep all those expenses in one place. Your computers, your cell phones, all these things. It's definitely a great way to drive down your expenses off your income, so that way you can pay less taxes. So
Okay.
does that help?
I have another question. Sorry.
All right, for sure.
So I have 2 income properties, but I haven't put them into an LLC because I'm concerned about like doing cash out refis, or is that more difficult to do when it's in an LLC versus your personal?
Yeah. So you're gonna pay a little more interest on an LLC. But yeah, like you said, there's some liability protection there when you have them in an LLC. They should be ran like a business anyway. But yeah, it is cheaper if you're just getting started. That's a great way to do it, is to kind of put them in your own name. A lot of people do that, but definitely as you start to develop and grow, you're going to want to move those over. And again, once those are in an LLC and you can show that cash flow for your LLC, you're going to be able to get more credit. And I think a lot of you were mentioning earlier on, like flipping houses. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I flip about 7 houses at a time right now. Throughout the country, Denver, St. Louis, Greenville, like everywhere. And I basically use a credit card to finance all of those rehabs, and they're all in LLCs, right? So for example, each state has a monopoly space, red spaces, silver spaces, orange spaces, for the monopoly board. But each one of those has a credit card attached to it, so that way I can, finance all of those purchases for that property. And I'm guessing you're probably making, if you don't have an LLC set up right now, anytime you're making a repair, you're putting that on a personal credit card. Those are business expenses, right? So there is some benefits to, even though you're paying a little more interest, running it like an LLC or running it like a business, you do have deductions. So 10% maintenance and all that fun stuff, unless you're tracking that stuff right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll add to it. Like Mitch, I have the Follower team was the original name. It was the Amarillo team was the original name of my LLC for my real estate group, and I didn't have any people on my team. I just went and called it the Amarillo team. It was just me.
Genius, dude.
I was thinking big.
Life hack.
Yep. It just sounded bigger. It made me feel bigger. And before you know it, I did have 25 agents under me. But like before that, I just said LLC, business card. So great question, Alyssa, and great answer, Mitch. Go ahead, Joy.
Thanks, Walter.
Hell yeah, man. I'll give you credit all day.
Yeah. That's a great tip, though. Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned about like what was it, where you have your LLC and then you get your Duns and Brad number. What does that do, the Duns and Brad? Is that to help build your business credit?
So the Duns and Bradstreet number is it's your business credit profile. So when you borrow, they report to the Duns and Bradstreets. You don't need the premium account or anything like that. You can just take your LLC, enter your information, and once you create that, basically you're just starting. You know, you're at the starting line for building a business credit profile. And once you have that business credit profile, whether you have vehicles in that LLC, you have lines of credit for your LLC, you have credit cards for your LLC, all these things are just being tracked underneath the Duns and Bradstreets. So your vendors can see a lot of that stuff too. So for example, depending on what your business is, the more you grow, your suppliers are going to be able to say, hey, look, they have a great track record. We can give them net 30, net 60, net 90 terms based on that kind of stuff.
So when you do the loan, you're doing it under an EIN or your Duns and Brad?
Okay, great question. Yeah, so the Duns and every situation is different, but again, a lot of the loans that if you're under $1 million, a lot of that stuff is personally guaranteed. If you're over $1 million on a commercial property, you can get non-recourse, but it's still personal guaranteed sometimes. So depending on what you're trying to do, it's going to be a different answer. But when I'm applying for these credit cards, you can try to apply with your EIN. A lot of times they're still going to want your social.
Okay, thanks.
All right. I see. Got the trash FICO and don't know how to break it. Definitely check out the course. There's a lot of information in there on how to fix it. You know, again, there's a lot of things that go into this, and most times it's either missed payments, collections, or high. Like, so one of my really good friends, and I won't say his name, you know, but it's actually happened a lot of times where they had no credit, so they opened up a credit card and they had a $500 credit limit on this credit card. And, you know, every single month their expenses were around $1,000, but they would just rack up this credit card and they would make 2 payments on the thing. But when the credit card companies would look at their credit score, they would see, oh my God, this guy's maxing out his credit utilization, and his credit score was in like the 650s because of it. So all he had to simply do was actually just pay it down for a month, get that credit utilization down, and he was able to open up another credit card with a $3,000 limit. So just by doing that, like that one little pivot where he had more credit utilization, his credit score was able to jump up. So a lot of times, if you have a bad credit score, it's definitely easily fixable. And that's why, like, you know, before when I was doing this course, I was spending a lot of time, I was helping people create, you know, doing one-on-one sessions to review like how they want to get more credit. But I wanted to be able to kind of like create this course, because a lot of these questions, it's like a surgeon, right? Like there's a formula. Once you understand the formula, like it's all possible. So I put it all together inside that course for all this stuff. So
Awesome. Go ahead, Viridiana.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm a realtor, and I opened a business card with U.S. Bank. I just get a letter this week that they approve credit for $15,000 for a year, 0 interest in. So I just want to know how can I improve that.
yeah, first of all, congratulations. And
Thank you.
yeah, and how awesome does that feel to have access to $15,000 for your business, right? Like now you can scale up your business, you can do marketing, you can, you know, all that stuff is easier, and you're not using your personal card, so your credit score is not going to be impacted anymore. So how can you do more, right? So you opened up one. Typically you don't want to open up more than like 3 cards in like every 90 days, because they're going to look like, it's going to look like you're grabbing for credit, and that doesn't look good. So again, your next step, you know, I'd say give it a couple weeks. And, you know, do you have a Chase credit card right now?
Now I just have a personal Chase card because I don't have EIN. So
yeah, you can apply
I
for
searched it up, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know which one to apply. So
yeah,
I can check with Chase.
yeah. So do you know how to get an EIN?
No, that's something that I need to learn about it.
Can someone pop that in there? Does anyone have that information right there? Thanks.
I'll
man.
grab
Yeah,
one.
literally, it's the IRS website. Don't pay someone for this. It's super easy to do. Fill out a form, but save that piece of paper like it's your birth certificate, because everyone's gonna ask for it.
Because I was search it up, it's feel like I have different steps that you need to do. You need to do a few
Yeah.
things that you need to get it done. How that works?
Yeah, you definitely need the EIN number. Don't go for the sponsor links or anything like that. Go to the actual website. Here, I'll see if I can pop it in here for someone.
Somebody popped it in there
I did.
actually.
Thank you. Yeah, so EIN, again, super free. Duns and Brads, do the free. Just go to Duns and Bradstreets and you can get both those. Takes 5 minutes, doesn't cost you anything. And if you have an LLC, it's just something you should have.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Very helpful.
Yeah, it was Shantae that dropped it in the chat. Let's give Shantae a round of applause. Thank you for dropping it in there. Appreciate it.
She's on it.
That's it. Go ahead, DJ.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to put my hand down.
Well, in that case, I was going to say we'll take one more question. I know Mitch is busy. He's still unpacking. He's still getting himself moved into his place there. He's renovating. I see Frank is on here. Frank, you just put your hand up so everybody knows where you're at. So Frank runs Alchemist Financial. He's also very connected with Mitch Durfee. So if you're running into a credit issue on the financing side of things, we're going to connect you to Mitch Durfee to get your credit repaired. Hence, if you understand, we got a system for the system. So if you're looking to borrow money from us, but your credit's not right, we're going to send you over to Mitch to make sure your credit gets fixed. So the course that we dropped in there, please get your credit right. It makes it a lot easier for us to work with you and lend you money. Hands to the camera, if you understand, we want to help you. You got to help yourself also. we want to be able to lend to you, but you got to follow some of the rules and make sure things are taken care of. Go ahead, Tashin.
All right. So my question is, I've had an LLC since March of last year, so it's coming up on about a year. I have a EIN number. I have all of that stuff. My personal credit is around about a 650 personal score. However, when I go to apply most of the time for credit, or the last time I applied for business funding through Chase, I was denied because of lack of credit length or my credit age. I just recently spent $1,500 to purchase 2 trade lines, which will give me about 6 years of credit age a piece. One from Berkeley's, and one from Chase. Should I now start to maybe open up? And I also have Navy Federal with a checking and savings account. Should I now be trying to apply for that business credit once those trade lines report to my credit, since I have paid all of my personal cards down and got those trade lines?
Yeah. So thank you for asking that. And I would definitely say that you're doing the right things by opening up those trade lines. In your situation, I would tread a little lightly here, because you've been declined for credit age already. So and the 650 is also probably another reason, because Chase really wants to see your scores above 700. So you're right there on some small minor tweaks that we could definitely take your credit, get you above 700 in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then you're going to have a stronger credit profile. Your credit age will be stronger. But what happens to your credit age is when you open up a new credit card. So for example, this is why I want people to do it like now, right? Because if you are thinking about credit, like you are in your situation, and you wait 12 months and say, hey, I want to start getting credit, like your credit age starts at 0. So, and then when you open up another credit card, so for example, if you opened up a credit card today, 12 months from now, you open up another credit card, your average credit age is 6 months. So that's why we want you to kind of start getting this credit earlier on, because if you wait to do it and you have 0 credit age, it's very difficult to get approved for more credit cards. So you did the right thing by getting the trade lines to report. But again, I think that what you want to do is you want to go back with a stronger credit score, by just making a few tweaks, whether it's credit utilization, like if you want, reach out to me. I'll, because you've been so active on here and it sounds like you got a lot of things going on. Reach out to me. I'll take a look at your profile for you and help you get over that hurdle, because you're doing the right things and I want to see you successful. So reach out if you get a chance.
Awesome. Let's give Mitch Durfee a big round of applause. Super helpful, above and beyond. It's no wonder he's the author of the book, Serve to Win, right? He understands the idea of giving, paying it forward, helping others. He also gave a lot of really good, valuable information tonight. Hanscam, if you learned something or remembered something, or one of the pro tips that he just gave Tashi, I'll give you another example of that, is if you have 6 credit lines or 5 credit lines early on, and then later on, 2 or 3 years later, you open one new one, it doesn't happen. It doesn't hurt as much. But if you only open 1 in the beginning and then you open 6, 3 years later, it completely wipes out that first one. It's like it doesn't even exist. Hanscam, if you understand, you got to do credit sooner than later. It's just unfortunately one of those things you got to do. Your family probably raised you to say, don't put anything on credit. Hanscam, if you were raised with that, they said, don't use credit cards. They're the worst. No, your family was just dumb. Like my family, like put their money in credit cards and then they were screwed by it, right? Like that was how I was raised. My family got taken advantage of by the credit card companies. But in reality, what I discovered was my family had a tendency to buy shit they couldn't afford and then couldn't pay off. And the credit cards just kept stacking on high interest, because the credit card's really just saying, give me my money back. I want my money back. I want my money back. But since I'm not trusting you to give my money back, I'm just gonna get some money from it, right? So be aware that credit is good. You need it. Like the rich only use credit. Here's the secret of the rich, the ultra rich. They build, like, if you want to make $1 million, buy real estate. Super simple. That's the $1 million path. If you want to become a billionaire, you've got to build a business, and the value of the business, you don't actually own any of that. Like Elon can't go and spend his shares to buy food, right? He has to borrow against his shares using credit to borrow against the shares so he can get access to millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. So the rich borrow against their assets using credit. They leverage the credit from the banks. Same with real estate. Who remembers the beginning of this call? We talked about the BRRRR strategy, BRRRR, buy, renovate, refinance, rent, repeat, rent, refinance, repeat. Like that concept of refinance only comes from credit. You have to be able to have a decent credit score in order to do that refinance part where you get the cash out at low interest, because if you have high credit, a low credit score, they'll still lend to you, but they're going to give you a very high interest rate. Right now, we're getting rates. We just got quoted a rate that was 6.5 on a very difficult commercial portfolio to finance, when a traditional lender was offering us 10% on that. And the reason was because of the relationship and the credit. If it wasn't for the credit and the relationship with the bank, we would be paying what everybody else pays. So your credit is really important. Please go and get some form of credit. Go borrow something. Oh, wow, I do have a way. I wish I could say anybody who owes us money in Alchemist Connect, Alchemist Nation, for like any courses you've borrowed from us. I wish I could say we reported your stuff to the credit bureaus, but we don't. Like, we don't actually do that. But we did recently come into, is Ron on this call, Dorina? We do have a way to do that. So if you owe us money and you would like it to report against a credit, for your credit score, please let us know. We do have the ability to do that now. Would that be valuable to anybody? If you want any balance you owe us, we can actually do that. So that's a very special thing that we actually prepared for the summit, but we figured that was going to complicate things. If we said, hey, do you want your credit applied to this? We just said, no, we'll be the financing bank on that. But now after this credit repair thing, I was like, fuck, like these guys need to go get private loans. We can actually do a personal loan if you owe us something for education. So if you do owe us something for education, we can actually apply that so that your credit is being tracked. So that's a fun feature. Like Mitch said, just go open lines. Don't be crazy with it. Please be adults. Please don't put things on credit cards that you can't feasibly go and pay back. Like, please, you're adults. We're real estate investors, right? Hanscam, if you're a real estate investor, real estate agent, you know how to make money. Go make the money and then put that money in the bank and then use your credit card intelligently and always have the money to pay down the card. Always have the money. My cards, any balance on my cards always has a balance in the bank. I always have that balance. It's always running side by side. If they're going up, the other one's going up. You know, in a case of a situation where they're like, hey, I need your credit improved, boom, no problem. I can always take care of it. So I just want you to be intelligent with it. Mitch gave you some really powerful tools tonight. He also told you go get some credit. This 5 years from now, you're going to look back at this call and say, oh my God, thank God I pulled out those 3 extra credit cards. Thank God I went and I applied for 3 extra cards. Thank God I went and I got a loan on a house. By the way, you have a loan on in your personal name, switch over to the LLC. You can use the loans in your own name again. All right, so get the houses out of your name into the LLC so you can now have access to do things in your name again. Right? There's like little tricks, these little things all add up to playing the game bigger. Now, as I'll call myself an adult real estate investor, as a lender, as somebody who's like on the other side of this, a lot of it doesn't apply to me anymore. It's no big deal. Right. So you can't do the things I'm doing. You have to do the things we did early on where we're like, fuck, we're buying houses with credit cards. Holy shit, this is scary as hell. But nobody would lend to us except for the credit card companies. Right, Mitch? I was doing all my renovations on credit cards. So
hey, that's exactly it, man. That's how I got started. Like, you know, I'm blessed now. And I was going to mention something earlier is like, once you are starting to do deals over the $1 million mark, they lend right on your credit score. So it's literally like a non-recourse loan. It's, hey, what's your credit score? It's off your balance sheet, and the loans get a little easier, but I think it's like 0 to 1 is the hardest part. But once you get that momentum, which is what we're teaching you today, right? And I also kind of want to say, like, I think I usually hit on this, like a lot of people are afraid of these, right? Like they're afraid of having a credit card. Like they think that somewhere along the lines that having credit is bad. And what I think people really need to understand, and I wish I could just get this through to them, is like having the credit card is actually a nice safety net because it doesn't cost you anything if you don't use it, right? Like if you get a credit card with no annual fees and you have that nice $10,000, cushion. Like I used to think like, oh man, I need to have, 3 to 6 months worth of reserve. But now, if I have a credit card that's interest free for, 12 months, like that makes the reserve a little easier. Like I can breathe a little easier at night knowing that if something comes up, like, do you really have a problem if you can write a check? Like it's not a problem anymore. It's just like literally you can solve problems a lot faster by having access to credit. If you try to get credit after you have the problem, that's when the difficulties come, right? Like when you need the money because you didn't do it first, that's when the challenges come.
yeah. Awesome. Let's give Mitch Durfee one more round of applause. For everybody who's in Mastery, we'll be hanging out at 8 o'clock tonight. So for everybody in the Mastery program, we're going to be getting back together for our accountability call. Bring with you your 3 wins, the 3 wins from last week, and the one thing we can hold you accountable to. For everybody else who's in the Recession Proof Challenge or hanging out with us in Alchemist Nation, give yourselves a big round of applause, Alchemist Nation. We're here to build 100 millionaires. We're inspired to build 100 millionaires. So stay on your grind, stay focused on what you're doing. Do not get distracted by the shiny objects. There are a lot of shysters out there who are going to try to tell you what to do, what not to do. And I'll just tell you this one thing: buy real estate, the cash flows so you can get rich. That has worked for all of us. Buy real estate, build businesses. Buy real estate, build businesses. Hence, if you understand the process, we buy real estate and we build businesses, or we build businesses to buy real estate. But either way, we're focusing on our credit. We're focusing on helping other people. We're not building 2 businesses at once. We build one. Stay focused on building one business. Keep driving that business until you've learned it, done it, and automated it. Until you've automated your business, you have not earned the right to start a second business. Hence, if you understand the process. Because too many people end up like, this is how broke people work. This is how middle-class people work. And that's why they work so damn hard. They'll learn it, they'll do it, and then they'll start the second business, and they'll learn it and they'll do it, and they'll start the third business, and they'll learn it and they'll do it. And they'll be so fucking busy running 3 businesses, making the same money they would have made if they were running one business, if they learned it, done it, and then delegated it or automated it. That's if you understand what we're talking about here. We're talking about getting rid of the monkey brain, the lizard brain, the shiny object syndrome, the squirrel brain, and just focusing on one thing and staying in it long enough to be successful. Double your business every year, double your rental portfolio every year, and you will be successful. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you have a net worth of $1 million. You have $10,000 passive income. The only way to get there is to stay focused, stay close to us, and we'll make sure it happens for you. For everybody in the Recession Proof Challenge, I will see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. This mission will not self-destruct, but your business might if you don't take action. See you on the next one. One more time, let's give Mitch a round of applause. Great job, brother. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me. Anyone, if you have questions, hit me up on Facebook. Like I said, it's an awesome group here, and I really appreciate all of your time. I hope I was able to answer some questions. Walter, thank you so much for putting this on. Dorena, I know you did an amazing job behind the scenes, keeping Walter in line to get everything here. So thanks for sending those messages out. Mitch, great seeing you guys. Everyone, seriously, I love seeing all your faces again. Matt, of course, you're always doing big things. Keep up the fire, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.
Thank you
All right.
so much, Mitch.
Appreciate
Cheers to your
it. God bless
success.
you, man.
When you have a choice, always work with the
Always
best.
work with the best.
Good.